Welcome to another edition of International Soccer Break. I'm your host Sahil here with Rahi, and we have a very special guest today, Ege, who will be talking specifically about the European Championships that are coming up, and of course, we have today Group F, and Group F happens to have a very special team that means a lot to you, right, Ege?
Yeah, born and raised from Turkey, so definitely have been rooting for it.
All right, so let's show the group. Let's show the group here, which of course is it's an interesting group. I think compared to some of the other groups in Euro, I think it's a lot of there's some parity here. Rahi, initial thoughts for this group?
Yeah, it's a wide open group. It's really a wide open group. One of the more wide open groups in the Euros. I mean, Portugal's certainly the favorites. But beyond that, there's really congestion. I mean, this is a Turkey team that at times has loved this tournament. We all remember how good they were in that magical 2008 run. But this is a team that looks like they're back. It looks like they've had results that are important, beating Croatia in the qualifiers, came through against Wales, of course, had a big friendly win against Germany. This is a Turkey team that's revived itself, I believe, and really has a good opportunity. And you have to say the same for the Czech team and for the Georgian team. I mean, they would look at this group and say, we can find a way through.
Yeah. So there, of course, is the group again. So I think we can take the group off now and just go there. So again, when you first saw this group, being a Turkish fan, what was your initial thoughts?
Well, initially, I wanted Greece in the group over Georgia just because it will be more fun. But Greece is, in my opinion, a little more difficult game than
Yeah.
Georgia. So as long it's a tight one, like with Portugal. I think they're gonna be getting out of the group, the top of the table for sure. And I think especially with the new format, the most of the third teams can go up as well. Turkey has a very highly likely chance to get out from that group.
Yeah. So let's start with Portugal. That's a good place to start. Obviously, this team had a perfect record in qualification. Won every single match. Did some of them in style with 6 goals, and it was nonstop, just goals galore. Didn't really feel like there was a match in there that they were really threatened at all. So, and this is a good Portugal side.
It's a very good side. I actually saw this side play Switzerland in the World Cup, and that was another one of those games where they just uncorked an insane amount of goals. And that was a game where João Felix had an incredible game. I think a lot of what they do comes down to his performances. He tends to be kind of inconsistent. At times, he can be a player that changes the game, and he can be a world-class talent. And at times, he sometimes disappears. So for me, it's a Portugal team that when they're on, they're on. But then you saw against Morocco in the World Cup there where they really struggled to create. And at times, that can be the performance as well. The
Yeah.
sky's the limit for Portugal.
Yeah, they had a recent friendly loss to Slovenia. Ege, obviously Bernardo Silva, Cristiano Ronaldo, Bruno Fernandes. You have the names go on and on and on. So for you, I'm sure this is a team that you think is the team to beat in the group.
I'm like for me, the only good thing about Portugal is that we're not playing against them the first game. That's really what happened to us in the previous Euro. We came in with high hopes, lost to Italy like 3-0 the first game. And the way Turkish people work is you have high expectation. You're gonna be the champions of the world one day. The next day, you're the worst team in the world, and you're getting abused. So I'm glad that we not playing against Portugal the first game, and Portugal is gonna be the most difficult game just because we have really like the only problem with this Turkish squad is there's no strikers, not a natural one for sure, and Portugal really has like a solid defense. They haven't been really conceding goals, especially
Yeah.
with Ruben Diaz. So that's gonna be the most difficult aspect for us for sure.
Yeah, I think there's still question marks, I think, about Portugal's goalkeeper. We saw in what happened a little bit in the World Cup, right? And every once in a while he's due for a mistake here and there. But aside from that, I think that the team is just solid through and through.
I mean, are
Um,
they favorites to win the tournament?
Portugal?
Yeah.
Either one of the favorites. I wouldn't say the favorite, but they're definitely up there. I think in terms of definitely I think a dark horse, if not any
Yeah.
favorite.
I think no doubt.
Yeah. So okay, moving to the team that's the surprise team. Of course, like I said, we thought it was Greece going into the penalty kicks. We didn't know who was going to come out, and it turned out to be Georgia. So a couple big players, Kvaratskhelia, who plays in Napoli, and a couple other Serie A players, right?
Yeah, it's a team that's sneakily pretty good, right? So of course up front is where they're most dangerous, but getting through a difficult qualification process, finding a way to survive in penalties against Greece, they seem tested at this point, right? It's a team that has come close before, right? In the World Cup qualifiers, they were good last time, so it's a team that I think is going to try and take advantage of this moment as best they can, and they have players who are experienced at the highest level. We don't know a lot about what this team can do at this level, but they've shown the ability to survive in tough situations. They have players that have played in big games. This is a good opportunity for a Georgian team that's more talented than you might realize.
Yeah, I guess again, how do you feel going to the game against Georgia? Obviously, it's one I think that you feel that Turkey has to win, obviously, right?
Yeah, I think Turkey not only has to win, but Turkey needs to win with as many goals as they can score, just to secure that best number, one of the best third place spots.
Mm.
But the thing with Turkey is that Turkey, in its nature, can literally win against the world champions France in Parc des Princes by 1-0, and then go lose to Letonia next day. Which happened. So with Georgia as well, that's like there's always that possibility. But I think in terms of what really doesn't work with those like Letonia, like smaller teams which have like not really quality players, but they have a total system. They have a way of playing games, and they have a system, just a top down, like bottom up system from just the youth games, versus Turkey, which we kind of a lot of passion, not enough system. That's really where it doesn't work for us. So I think it's like Georgia team, it's similar to Turkey in that sense, with like more passion, less system.
Yeah.
So, and especially not much Euro experience, only three players that plays in European leagues. That's where I'm expecting Turkey to have a good start to the league.
Yeah.
The groups.
And of course, Willy Sagnol of French legend is the coach of
Right.
of Georgia.
Interesting.
So it's an interesting team there. But best of luck to the debutantes, Georgia, in European Championships. So okay, here's the team that I think is going to pose a very interesting matchup for all the other teams in this group, which is Czechia, and it's a team that has Premier League players. The West Ham contingent of Kofal and Souček, and then of course you have this figure Patrick Schick, which he was injured a majority of this particular season. He was the European top scorer, tied for top scorer in the last Euros. But then he started to make a little bit of a comeback, and there's certain elements of this team that's pretty strong, right?
Yeah, I mean, Patrick Schick, when he's on and when he's healthy, is an incredible talent. Scored some incredible goals. And so he's a very, very dangerous player. And this Czech Republic team has always found a way in this tournament to get through, right? To find ways to win games. They're a very tricky team, and they've generally been very, very good in the back. This is a tough matchup for everyone else in the group. And this is a team that knows how to play in this tournament. You want to talk about a system team, they feel a little bit more to me like a system team, Ege.
Yeah. Ege, you guys have had some history against the Czechia, right? Previously, so.
Yeah, Euro 2008 describes literally how the entire history of Turkish football, which is after the 17th minute, let's figure something out. Just someone yelling, and then like passion and cross and inshallahs, and things happen. And the Czech Republic game and the Croatia games in 2008, both of them were, in my opinion, one of the most legendary games in Turkish history.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm I am obviously more afraid than for Czechia compared to Georgia, and especially Patrick Schick. Even though he was injured most of the time, he had to score some clutch goals coming off the bench for Leverkusen this year. So I think the best chance for Turkey will be scoring as many goals as they can to Georgia, not conceding as much of goals from Portugal, and then drawing with Czechia.
Yeah, I think it's going to come down to this game, and that this game means a lot. Anything before we move on, Rahi, for Czechia?
No, I just think with this team, be very careful about underestimating them, because they've shown that at times, even when they're less talented than this time around, that they've found ways to get wins in this tournament, found ways to advance to the next round. So they're a very tricky team to play against.
Yeah, big win against the Netherlands last time around as well to make it through in the knockout. So, all right, Ege, this is your show now. Take it away. Let's talk about, I think, the game against Croatia away in the Euro qualifications. That, I think, was the start of the belief for this team that said, hey, we're going to get to this tournament and we can compete with some of the biggest names in the game today.
So I'll just give you a quick recap of our qualifiers, because as you said, just before the Croatia game, up until that point, we had Stefan Kuntz as our manager, who was, before Turkey, was the under-21 coach for Germany, brought by the federation. The entire time was criticized and only kept by the federation because of just fighting with the media. And really, like before the Croatia game, Turkish people had no hope of getting out of the groups, let alone finishing the group the top of the table, first time in their history. And the Croatia game was the first game we had our new coach, Montella. He used to be the coach of one of the mid-tier teams in Turkey, Adana Demirspor, and he actually did great job with that team. Moved them to like the fourth European qualifier kind of a team. And the Croatia game was the first game he played. We won 1-0, and then we also got 3 wins. The rest of the games we had clutch wins, and then we just got out of the table.
Yeah. So for the viewers out there, tell us, who are the main players to watch out for? Who's gonna light this tournament on fire?
Of course. For Turkey, as I mentioned, Turkey right now do not have much. Absolutely no strikers. So I'll get into that. But obviously, the first name that comes into mind is Hakan Çalhanoğlu. For a lot of the people, the last year's with Inter Champions League finalist, and then he also got selected the best player in Serie A this year. But he has actually never performed for the Turkish national team. He has been very bang average. But he was also being forced out of his position. He'll be forced to play number 10. Now with Montella, he's been pulled back to number 6 as more of like a deep lying playmaker. And I think that could change things. Besides that, and the second most obvious player is Arda Güler.
Yep.
And a lot of people just, especially like in outside of Europe, they will see Arda as like an 18-year-old player, just got into Real Madrid, that hasn't been really had playing time in Real Madrid up until the last couple of games, where he actually became one of the fastest goal scorers in Real Madrid history. And they might think like the pressure could be a thing, but really playing in the top 3 teams in Turkey is, as a Turkish player, as a young Turkish player, is way more difficult and pressure than playing for Bayern Munich or playing for a top English flight team, just because that is in their nature.
Hopefully remember back to those 2002 days now, the beginning of the same days again.
Yeah. So Turkey will. There's no explanation for Turkey's inconsistency, and I think for Turkey is a huge football nation.
Right.
80 million people live and breathe for football, only sport. So if we ever beat that inconsistency, that's when Turkey will get to the next level and become a powerhouse in Europe. But it's just it's always been the same case.
Yeah. All right. So I gotta put everyone on the spot now. As we've gone through all the teams, who gets through? Rahi, who gets through for you from this group?
Portugal gets through first. I think Turkey comes in second, and Georgia probably sneaks in as the third place team.
Okay. Ege, who'd you got?
Portugal definitely in first place. I would say Czechia number 2, Turkey 3, Georgia 4.
Okay. So and you say you guys get through as one of the best third place teams?
Yeah, that's where my head is at.
Okay, cool. All right, cool. Well, that is that. We're gonna do a quick fun segment to wrap the show. Again, what we do is we just go through each country that we've named, name the most famous person at this current juncture in time. I'll start this off for Georgia. I believe it's Katie Malua, the British Georgian singer. Those people in the UK definitely know who she is. Globally, I think that one's hands down.
Yeah, no doubt.
No debates. No debate about that one. This Czechia, I'm going to go with someone interesting here. I'm going to go Jaromir Jagr, the famous hockey player. So that's who I'm going with for that. I think let's go Portugal. This one's pretty obvious. Ege, I think it's got to be CR7, right? I mean, who else? There was that. And then lastly, Ege, this is you. Who would you say is the most famous Turkish person today on the globe that everyone should know about?
That's a good one. I wish I prepared for it.
Yeah, go for it. What do you got?
Yeah, I'm gonna say Arda Güler, even though I'm kind of cheap there a bit, even though he is a player grown from my rival team. I think he's gonna do great things.
Okay, sounds good. Well, all right. Best of luck to Turkey out there. Best of luck to all the other teams in this group. Ege, thanks for joining us. For all the viewers out there, excuse me, if you're enjoying these videos, please subscribe to the channel. And we're all excited about the European Championships. Ege, I like to give the end of the segment to the guests to say, to spur the team on. You can do it in Turkish, you can do it in English, whatever you prefer, but we'll close it out with you with one sentence, 2 sentences you want to say. The ball's in your court.
Hadi milli takım.